Welcome back everybody. I thought about doing a new series on the channel where I'll take a look at the brand new unit that's going to release on JP. On global it doesn't really matter too much because we're always just going to get the same unit that JP just got, but what I wanted to do was we'll take a look at the brand new unit and then we'll analyze what they're going to be good for, what their best team will be, and what other uses they might have. I just thought it would be pretty interesting because I was talking to my guildmates about this Oslo and Hawk, and then I had a really big epiphany on how I thought the devs want you to play this unit. Because something that did come to my attention when I check my Japanese Twitter, I see quite a few Japanese whales. They have been using Festival King, doing some trickery, trying to find some whale counters to ban and stuff. So I thought it was actually very coincidental that the JP whales are testing out Festival King, and then the new unit that comes out is actually a buff to the Festival King team. So I just thought it would be interesting. If you do enjoy this kind of video, or if you do want me to do more in this style, do leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think after you watch it. Do you reckon it's worth doing more like this? I don't know, you tell me. But yeah, so just a quick overview of Oslo and Hawk. Obviously, second Oslo and Hawk unit. They are unknown, passive. All enemies take 35% more damage from poison, bleed, and shock, excluding deathmatch. That's really good. He has a bleed debuff, single target, so it's actually going to be very strong. Normally DOT debuffs are most of the time AoE, but when they are single target, they do prove to be very strong. Second skill, Cake Bomb, Corrosion. Very good against Barn, very good. When you corrode a unit who has like 500-600k HP, you are going to reduce a lot, and I mean a lot of their HP, probably more than you could reduce with like a level 3 attack or something, because the more HP you have, the more corrosion is going to hurt you. And then of course the ultimate, the good old if they are 6/6, you expel them for 2 turns, which honestly this ultimate is 9 times out of 10 it wins the game if you get to use it. Like I'm gonna just say how it is, because I have a 6/6 Oslo and Hawk. 9 times out of 10 when I use this ultimate, I basically win the game, because only being allowed to use 2 cards and only having 2 units on the field for 2 turns is too debilitating, man. It's too difficult to come back from. So unfortunate that it's still obviously the whale ultimate being at 6/6 only. You get the extra turn. If he's 5/6, 4/6, 3/6, 1/6, the expel is only for 1 turn, which is nowhere near as influential. But yeah, let me explain to you how they want you to run this. Alright, so we've got Oslo and Hawk, we've got Goddess Liz, we've got Festival King, and now we have Demon Hendrickson in the sub slot. So the way I think the devs want you to use this is you push Hendrickson to the sub. You don't need Hendrickson to proc King's passive, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. You put Elizabeth in the front. Now normally the way people are running it on JP right now is just Liz, Hendy, and King. Push Hendrickson to the sub, put the Oslo and Hawk in. Of course Hendrickson is green, so Barn is going to take a big dump on him, because green against, Festival unit whose type advantage, you're going to get clapped. Now you have a mono blue team who Barn is still going to do well against. Like Barn is just, he just does well against everyone. It's the, type isn't even a thing, but at the very least you'll take a bit less damage. You are going to have access to Liz's shield, which can help you, so you don't get absolutely destroyed by the detonate, because you kind of do low-key want to get your ultimate, but at the same time control Barn's ultimate, because if Barn gets his ultimate, it's the end of the game. But at the same time, even if he doesn't get his ultimate, there's still a very good chance you lose the matchup anyway. You've got stun, which is very important. Very few people are running their Arthur with Esther as a sub, because that's just not how you run Barn. So you will be able to use Liz stun if you get it, and then be able to land a single target bleed, which is going to be very powerful. You got to keep in mind, right, Hendrickson increases the damage dealt with debuff attacks by 50%. so this skill here, 50% of the percentage, add it on, and there you go. It's going to be much more powerful. And then of course you have to realize that enemies take even more damage from poison, bleed, and shock, so the bleed is going to hit even harder, which is actually very weird. I'm curious to see how that works out. This could actually be very broken, because obviously this increases the damage dealt, which is obviously going to increase the damage that the debuff does, but this passive hit increases the debuff damage So it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see how this works. Alright, so we've got that out. We've talked about Liz. Hendrickson, just for the passive, doesn't really impact too much. You know, if he comes out, then, you know, your hopes of winning the game is probably going to be pretty slim. And then we move on to Oslo. We already discussed. Bleed, you want to get this on Barn, reduces HP as much as possible. Corrosion, you want to apply that basically anytime you get it. And let's tick it off, right? So we've got Bleed, we've got Corrosion, and we have Poison. Now you read King's passive, right? Very, very, very subtle but clever. Poison, Bleed, Shock, and Corrosion. Luckily, Corrosion is in there. If it wasn't on there, then you wouldn't be able to run Oslo and Hawk in the front, but it's all cohesive, works together. Enemies with 2 or more of the debuff effects, Poison, Bleed, Shock, and Corrosion, you'll be able to get this every single turn. Because you honestly, you know, you bleed someone and then you use the Corrosion, you use the Poison, that's good to go. The Corrosion is 2 turns, but at level 3 it's 3 turns if I recall correctly. I think that's how it works. Then of course King's Poison even at level 1 is for 3 turns. It's at level 1, it's at 3 turns for all the levels, so you know, keeping King's passive alive isn't going to be too much of an issue. So this is the way they want you to run this, because it just makes the most sense. It makes far too much sense for me not to think that the devs didn't want you to run it this way. Whoever is in charge of their PvP, you know, R&D, OMG, whatever, surely they must have thought about this, because honestly, apart from this, I don't really see any other use for Oslo. I really don't. You know, I thought about this pretty hard, and there's just nothing here. I can't tell you where else it would be good in terms of trying to counter Barn. Maybe you could tell me. I don't think there is, and I'm talking like, you know, proper good counter. I'm not talking about some kind of meme, you know, run Oslo and Hawk with red mono for big down. None of this meme stuff, right? We mean like actual serious good teams. This is how they're gonna want you to run it, 100%. I don't see any other better way. Now, the biggest issue that I have with this is that if your opponent runs Red Eastern, who I think is, you know, the best unit to run with Barn, because obviously with Barn you put Twigo sub, Arthur, Barn, and then the third unit is absolutely free. You could run any human you want. Obviously they do have to be human. Keep Arthur's passive. Any human in the game you want to run, you can run them, and you're probably not going to suffer any punishment, because Barn, Arthur, and Twigo is like all you need. So yeah, if a lot more people start using Eastern, then this Oslo and Hawk is going to flop, because, you know, Eastern, like, just what are you going to do? She'll just cleanse the debuffs. You're going to lose, right? But I don't think too many people are running Eastern. I think a few of them are, but not enough people are running Eastern to where it would make you not want to try this. Now, of course, this is all theoretical. Maybe the day this Oslo releases, everyone brings out their Eastern and then he flops, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think when he releases, you should be able to find some success, right? You should be able to. The Barn team isn't, you know, unbeatable. You can beat it, you know, by hook or by crook. You will be able to beat the team. It's just that in the majority of cases, the odds are stacked against you so bad because it's such a broken combo, you know. But at the end of the day, we always find counters, you know. It doesn't matter how bad the meta is, there is always going to be a counter to it. And this very well could be it. I mean, look at him, he works absolutely perfectly. He's a direct replacement to Demon Hendrickson. Not a replacement per se. I mean, heck, he could be a replacement, you know. Maybe you don't even need this extra debuff damage from Demon Hendrickson. Who knows? Maybe instead of running Demon Hendrickson sub, you run Green Merlin. Green Merlin, very good option if you don't want to run the Demon Hendrickson. Be able to alt rush Barn. Barn can't alt rush you if you're running King team. That's what it's known for. That's the foundation of the team. Your opponent cannot alt rush you. That's the foundation of the team, right? So maybe you take out Demon Hendy. This will need testing, you know. Maybe I'll try it out when it releases. I'll see how it goes. Green Merlin, you'll be able to alt rush if you. Right now, this is where we put the big whale quotation marks. If you are able to get Oslo and Hawk ultimate, right? And let's just say your Oslo is 6'6", which for 99.99% of people, probably not going to be 6'6", right? You get that 6'6 ultimate, you hit Barn, he's dead. With King, you get King ultimate, you hit Barn, that's game over. You know, 2-turn, Abyss, tap advantage, it's just way too powerful. Or, you know, maybe Liz ultimate, I guess you can, you know, stall a turn or two. I mean, I don't think Liz ultimate is too important, but, you know, it's just an option. of course. But yeah, that's going to be my very first breakdown video. Let me know what you thought. I don't see any other useful team where you could run this Oslo and Hawk, because he is literally a direct replacement to Demon Hendrickson in the Festival King team, so he's not really meant to be used anywhere else. You can't run a lane anywhere else. You know, a lane was meant to be a buff to the Festival King team. Turned out to be a horrible flop. Demon Handy, of course, just because of how useful his passive is. You can use him in so many other teams. I used him so much with a bunch of different units to experiment, and obviously Handy is still going to be very good. But yeah, that is my opinion. That is my breakdown on how the devs maybe thought of this. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Pretty short video, but yeah, if you did enjoy it, drop a like. Let me know if you want to see more of these breakdowns when new units come out, and that'll be it, guys. Have a great day.
Why are we so blind to see that the